Hello, maurieo! Diagnostic test questions 27 to 30. We're getting closer to the end and further from the beginning. Alrighty then. So, here we are. Starting to get a little bit harder now and into the territory that perhaps some of you might never have been before. But at least find out and try and do them. And if you, as I said earlier, if you have any trouble, you don't understand what the hell I'm talking about, try someone else, ask some of your classmates, have a look on YouTube. There are plenty of options. The challenge is in front of you. Whatever you do, don't say, yeah, and not meet the challenge, because as you've probably seen just in following through these few videos, that some of the earlier skills that you learnt or I showed you are now required here. So it's important that you learn and master the skill and then move on and build on the foundation of that skill. Stand on the shoulders of giants, so to speak. Okay, so now we're going to go back to Smooth Draw and we'll be looking at questions 27 through 30. On the big screen, here we go. Okay, so let's hope everything's going to go good first up. So transpose to make X the subject. So yeah, that just means make X the subject. Really, transpose, just a fancy math word that you probably need to understand, but it just means manipulate and it'll shift them around, I think. So what we've got here is we've got y equals 1 over 5x plus 2. Make x, so what we want to do is make it x equals something, x on one side on its own, and all the other terms on the other side. So, first thing to do is that this is a fraction. This is definitely a fraction, so get rid of the fraction. Step 1. Get rid of the fraction, and the way to get rid of the fraction is to multiply by the denominator. This is the denominator on the bottom. It tells you the denomination, the type of fraction. Like if there's a 2 on the bottom, it's a half. If there's a third on the bottom, it's a third. If there's a 4 on the bottom, it's a quarter. And if there's a 5x plus 2 on the bottom, I don't know what it is, but that's the denominator, 5x plus 2. It's a 5x plus 2. Okay, so get rid of the fraction. Now, there's some rules and things around this that you should know, but the way to get rid of the fraction is to multiply by 5. So it would be over here, multiply, I'm just going to put it here, times top and bottom. So I'm just going to T and B, top and bottom, by 5x plus 2. Oh, sorry, my mistake. Multiply, oops, let's undo that. I've gone a little bit off cue there. So it's not top and bottom, of course. It's multiply both sides times both sides. Both sides by 5x plus 2. I looked at that and I thought, well, what happens if I'm just going to square the bottom? 5x plus 2, I'll put that in brackets and I'll put a big square bracket there. So that's the first step, that's step 1. And obviously, if you do that, you're going to get y. So what you do to one side, you must do to the other. So you're going to get y 5x plus 2. And if I multiply 1 over 5x plus 2 by 5x plus 2, I'm just going, well, I'll show you. I've got 1 and I've got 5x plus 2 on the bottom, right? And I've got 5, and if I multiply by 5x plus 2, which has got to be up the top for the 5x plus 2, they just cancel out. And that's why I multiplied by 5x plus 2, because I'm smart. I knew that's what was going to happen, and so did you as well. So that just equals 1. Alrighty, so now moving on from there, remember we've got to get x on its own on one side. So let's expand that so we get 5, wanted red. So we got 5x y, again, here we are multiplying out brackets, plus 2y equals 1. Okay, the equal sign means that the sentence, the mathematical sentence, is true. So that's still true. We haven't, all we've done is what we did to one side, we did to the other. We multiplied both sides by 5x plus 2. If, say, for instance, I'll do this in green just so that we know that it's not part of the real deal. If, say, for instance, well, we know that 3 equals 3, right? 3 equals 3. Of course it does. So if we do the same to both sides, if we multiply 3 by 18, 18 times 3 times 3 times 18, do it by both sides, that's going to be 3 8s are 24, 54. And 54 equals 54. So as long as we do the same thing to both sides, the sentence will stay true. 3 equals 3. That's true. 54 equals 54. That's true. Doesn't matter what we do. If we multiply by a half, 27 equals 27. Okay, so there we are. So let's go back. That's enough of that. Enough of that. So let's go back to this red here. Now, we want to get y on its we want to get x on its own. So we can, well, we can take, what we can do is we can take 2y off each side, minus 2y. Okay. And if we do that, we get 5xy plus 2y minus 2y. I'll just do that in green as well. Green I said, not red. Minus 2y. Looks like 24, doesn't it? But it's actually a y. And then equals 1 minus 2y. What we do to one side, we do to the other. If we took 4 off that, 4 off both sides, 50 equals 50, still be true. Okay, so now let's collect our terms together after having done that. So we've got plus 2y minus 2y. That's just going to leave us with 5xy. Oops, I haven't lined my equals sign up. Equals 1 minus 2y. Now we want y on its own. So what happens if we divide through, and I'm just using different colours to show you. If we divide 5xy by 5x, okay, and the reason why we're doing that is because that cancels out and that cancels out, that becomes 1. We just get y on its own. And we must, what we do to one side, we must do to the other. There you go. We've done it. So x equals, and I'll just put the answer here just to tidy it up, x equals 1, oh, we want x in red, not green, x equals 1 minus 2y over, right, 1 minus 2y over 5x. And, hey presto, we have transposed y equals 1 over x plus 2 to make x the subject of the equation. Awesome. Okay, number 28. Transpose Z to make Y the subject. Okay, so let's see what trickery or what prestidigitation, what fantastic things we can do here. So we want to make Y the subject. So we've got Z. So first of all, the first thing I would do is I would subtract D from both sides, because minus D, because we want a Y, so we'll keep it on this side. So we'll put that D over the other side because that's easy. And then I'm going to expand out these brackets like that. So that's the first step there, minus D. So that will then, so that'll give us, we've got Z minus D equals, and then I'm going to expand the brackets, AY, okay, minus 5A. Okay, then in my second step, I'm going to go plus the 5x. That will give me, okay, because that'll, so I'm starting to leave out steps now. Plus D minus D, that cancels that out, and then that's AY minus 5x. So plus 5x minus 5x cancels that out. So I've got Z minus D, okay, plus 5x equals A Y. Z minus D plus 5x equals AY. I'm going to go for green. I'm going for green. Okay, now, but I want Y on its own. I don't want it with an A. But I know that if I divide by A, that'll cancel out the A, because A divided by A is 1, so that'll give me Y on its own. But what I do to one side, I must do to the other. So there we go. And then I'm going to run it around the other way, because 3 equals 3. If you flip it around the other way, 3 equals 3. It doesn't matter. So Y equals Z minus D plus 5x over A, just the same as Z minus D plus 5x over A equals Y. So I'm just going to put the answer over here. I'm a little bit messy here. There's not a lot of room to do. Probably should have left more room, but so let's Y equals, let's put it in here. So we're going to have Z minus D plus 5x, and this is the answer, all over A. That's it, done. I just want to go back up there that little one where I used the line. I'm a bit, where did I, oh, there it is. I did, that's all right. I thought I might not have put an actual line in. So Z minus D plus 5. Is that 5A or 5x? That should be a 5A in there. That should be a 5A. A, and that should be A. Very important. And you can see, got my surveyor's hat on here. That should be 5A. My surveyor's hat on here. How easy it is to get numbers wrong when you're copying from one side to the other. So Z minus D plus 5A over A. Okay, it's probably the simplest way of writing that. Okay, so here we have Y equals transpose again for number 29. Y equals C plus M square root of X. Make X the subject. Okay, so probably one of the easiest ways here is to first of all just do some manipulation and find out what square root of X is, and then we can just square that, and that'll give us x. Because remember that the square root of x squared equals x. Okay, and the square root of x all squared equals square root of x times the square root of x, which equals x. Square root is what number multiplied by itself equals x. So the square root of x is what number multiplied by itself equals x. So there's a couple of little things to remember. So, okay, so first up, what I'm going to do is so we want to make x a subject, so we've got to get that on one side. So first thing I'm going to do is minus c from both sides. From both sides of the equation. I'm noticing that these videos are getting longer and longer as they get a little bit more complex. So what we get is y minus c equals m root x. For my next trick, I'm going to divide by m. Both sides. Always both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. So if I divide through by m, I might use my green pen here. I'm going to go y minus c over m, and m minus root x over m. They cancel out and become 1. So what we end up with there is y minus c over m equals the square root of x. So now I'm going to square both sides. Square both sides. Always doing it to both sides. I don't know why I'm writing it again, but I am. So we've got to square that. And we've got to square that. X squared, that's going to be x. So that's x equals, and there's a number of ways of writing it, but probably the best way is to write it like this: y minus c all squared over m. So I've squared top and bottom. Y minus c all squared over m squared. That's the way I've written it. That's the answer there. Y minus c all squared over m squared. So a bit hard to see some in these where the answer is because of the room I'm taking up. Right, now the next one, a linear equation. These are called linear equations because they're the equation of a straight line, and they only have like the x term. So these ones here with the powers of x are the quadratic equations, x squared, and the graph of them is a parabola, whereas the straight line with just the x with no power or no indices is there. So this one here, pretty simple here, these ones. What I'm going to do is I'm going to solve that. So we need to solve that. What value of x makes that true? So what we do is get the x's on one side and the numbers on another. So what I'm going to do well, we can do this in 2 steps or 1 step, but I'm going to, from both sides, I'm going to subtract 3x. Both sides. So we get 4x. I'll write this one out. Minus 3x minus 24 equals 3x, wait for it, minus 3x, which is 0, plus 9. So now what we get there is 4x minus 3x is x minus 24 equals 9. Okay. Woo! Now I'm going to add 24 to both sides. Okay, so so then we get x, see what this does, minus 24 plus 24. Oh, that's equal to 0, and that'll get rid of the x. Awesome. But we must do the same to both sides. 9 plus 24. And then we get x minus 24 plus 24, 0, equals 9 plus 24 is 33. X equals 33. And this question, question 30, was the most popular question. It was the question most people got right. Some people didn't get very many questions right, but they did get question 30 right. So it's the most popular question. So good on you, question 33. Good on you. Well done. People's choice. Okay, so that brings us to the end of another video, and we're going to move on only possibly, oh here I come, into the picture, possibly only, maybe 2 more to go. So you can choose which video depending on which questions you want to have a look at, and then you can flick through and see. Obviously with the videos that you can see where I'm up to, so you can go through just the little thumbnails across the bottom. So that's pretty good. So we're getting used to this by now. So I think I'll just leave this one here. 23 minutes. Getting longer. I was aiming for 10, but well, you know, close, but no cigar. Okay then. Cheers. See you.